Oh my god.
So you said that you used to break dance. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, sure.
And just start the show off like that, like super.
Yeah, so I actually used to break dance when I
Hmm.
was younger.
Did you do it like competitively, or did you just do it like at like family functions and stuff and just
No,
playing around?
it was just like competitively actually.
Competitively.
Yeah, it was like a little competitively for fun. I did dance shows too. It was like with like friends. Like we did it like in high school. We had a dance club and like
That's dope.
yeah,
That's. I don't think I ever met anyone who could say that they competitively breakdance.
really.
Never, never. Do you know that movie, Stomp the Yard
Oh my god,
type of thing? Was it like that kind of?
Stomp the Yard is one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
No, actually, it was like well, you could say something like that. I wish, but like there's like more like a cipher. Do you know what a cipher is?
Cipher is like a rap cipher. It's more like of a freestyle. Is that what it is?
Yeah,
Or no?
so it's something like that. So a cipher is like when you have like a circle
Mm-hmm.
and like it's two people competing against each other or like a group
Mm-hmm.
or like an actual like team that competes against each other and they just like freestyle like they compete.
So, how do you judge if someone like won a round?
To be honest, it's like creativity, the
Okay.
beats that they hit with their footwork and how like flow and smooth.
And how the audience reacts to it, like does that play a part too, like if the audience is hyped and stuff after someone performs and then they're like, oh shit,
Yeah.
like you got owned or something like that.
Yeah, no, definitely. That
Is-
plays a huge part. Oh
that's
my god.
insane. And like, would you practice and stuff, like would you, well, you said that you were doing it at school too, so I'm assuming that you guys had like auditions and stuff, and well, not auditions, practices and stuff,
Yeah, cuz
like group practices.
yeah, cuz we would like perform at the high school and like what was it when I was younger we had like our own like it's so weird thinking about this, but we had our own like dance crew
Like
also.
your own like clique and stuff. Is that what you would call it? Like a dance clique or no?
Yeah, kind of like that. Like you know America's Best Dance Crew.
Yeah.
So we were like when we were younger in like middle school, we were like inspired by it. So we kind of like had our own clique and we performed at like school talent shows and stuff like that.
That's impressive.
Yeah, it was. But like I think about it now, I'm just like, yo, like some of the stuff that we did.
Nah, but I think that, for example, I think their name was Jabberwockies or something like that.
Job.
Jabberwockies was super inspirational. Like even me, like not even like having that inclination towards dance, I would watch them and I would be just mystified. I would be like, holy shit! Like these guys just move like everything, because it was kind of like dance mixed with like a magic show, because they would pull off stunts and things that you would just be mind blown. You're like, how did they coordinate that? It's just super. It's like super meticulous and super surgical. It's super. I don't know. It's crazy to me.
No,
It's wild.
I know exactly what you mean because how they did was their mask. They used their mask and their gloves to make that illusion, and like how they did the dance performances. They also like casted like a shadow like behind them, and when they wore like certain colors. But like just overall, like each like I feel like each dance has like a story, and that's what I
Ooh.
love.
That's interesting.
Yeah, like if you think about it, like if you really think about it, like breakdancing has a story. Every
Mm.
like type of dance has a story. Like I think my favorite type of stories, particularly to dancing, is like breakdancing, lyrical, and contemporary.
Mm.
I think those are my most favorite ballet. I like. Don't
Hmm.
get me wrong, ballet's like been there forever, but lyrical and lyrical,
And contemporary.
yeah, and breakdancing, they I feel like it has a story. If you watch how like the people dance and move,
Hmm.
like you can tell a story.
What do you think it is about dance that we humans love so much? Because there's this one uh fuck, I forgot his name, but I listened to a podcast once, and this guy, he's like a famous I even forgot what profession he's in, but essentially he says that dancing, a person who can dance well is a person who can kind of be in the rhythm of the universe, if that makes sense.
No, that makes 100%
So
sense.
you move with the universe, and then I don't know, like I'm not even gonna try to explain it because when he said it, it kind of blew my mind, and I don't really remember. But what do you think it is about like dancing that people just gravitate towards so much and they just love? I don't know.
What from my experience, to be honest, is like literally like the expression that you like get from it. Not actually, no, it's not the expression. It's like the feeling that you get from it, because you get to show like an expression or like an emotion that you can't show to other people. So at least in my opinion, because how I feel about dance is like, let's just say you have like a bad day or whatever, and like there's times that like I feel like I want to go to like a dance studio, play like a certain type of music and just let it all out and just like
And just move. And
yeah,
just like, yeah.
because it gives you this like euphoric feeling, to be honest. And I think everyone gets that euphoric feeling, if like music wise, movement wise, anything in general,
Because it's something you can't express verbally. Like you can't express, because just like you said, sometimes you have emotions that you can't put into words, so you have to just like express it otherwise.
yeah, like 100%. It's just it's a weird explanation, but like if you
It makes sense to me.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay,
100%.
good, because I was like honestly scared.
No. It makes 100%. And I think that that's probably why it's tied into why breakdancing is tied into hip hop, and hip hop is tied into maybe like fashion and streetwear.
Oh
Because
yeah,
they're all like means of expressing yourself that doesn't limit you to like words, right? So you're not limited to like writing or trying to speak it. Because a lot of people, and I know a lot of people like this, they're not that great speaking, and my girlfriend is one of them. Like she says it herself, like she's not that comfortable with like speaking, expressing herself verbally, but when she writes, it's amazing, you know.
yeah,
So but even then I think that there's another step, which is where dancing comes in, art, photography,
yeah.
videography, like everything that doesn't have to do with like our, you know, expression like that, you know.
No, I
I don't know
totally
if that makes sense.
no. It makes sense 100%. Like I just think overall, like I think we show our expressions in different ways, and like people like tend to show it in dancing, like writing, like what you said just before. And honestly, I think that it's one of the best ways to do it, because it's like imagine having all those different emotions inside you and not like expressing it or trying to express it. And like I feel like especially for like videography and photography, like it's something that like catches your eyes and you're just like, I want to make that story come to life. Like how do I do that?
And is that what like made you go into photography, is just this need to maybe not even just tell your story, but help other people tell their story? Like, is that what was it that made you gravitate towards that?
Yeah, actually, that's funny. Like now that I think about it, like I always had like a passion for it. Like growing up, I did like a whole bunch of sports.
Okay.
To be honest, I was like always active. I was like doing ROTC, and I was like running around like as a kid. But like I always had a fascination with like pictures. And it's weird because like it could be a black or white picture, it could be a still picture, it could be anything like random, but like I really liked it. And my sister was into it a lot when we were younger, and like I had friends who were into it, and then I was just like, you know what, like I'm like curious, like let me try. But like whenever I did it, like I just didn't like what it took. But I think it's just because when I was younger I didn't like understand it and appreciate
you
it.
didn't have like experience with the craft, and you didn't.
Yeah.
And do you think that at this point in your life, have you found your signature, I guess, language through photography? Because I feel like every artist has their own signature language, where like, for example, if someone shows me a collection of Tiffany's pictures mixed in with a collection of 20 other artists, you can tell Tiffany's pictures apart. Like, is that the case now? Do you feel like, have you found it? Are you still searching for it?
You know what? Like I'm like from when I started to now, like I have like grown like tremendously, like with different styles and stuff. I feel like I have found it, but at the same time, I feel like I'm still growing into it more. Like I want to make it different, like my style of photography, and like I like looking at other people's styles just because I love the idea and the different perspective.
Okay.
So like I feel like whenever I see other people, I'm just like, man, like how can you like make this angle to a different angle and make it better?
Like, how can you take this to the next level type of thing?
Yeah, exactly.
Which is why I'm kind of against the whole idea. And your answer is amazing, because that's exactly how I feel too. In a sense where I don't like the idea of people saying, for example, if you're going to do a podcast, you should find your framework and
Yeah.
you should find your cookie cutter formula that you're going to use in order to be successful. Like, you have to be consistent with your formula. You can't break outside of the box. Otherwise, you're going to be too much like this podcast and you're not going to be, unique and all of that bullshit, right?
Yeah.
I think that artists, the whole idea is for you to have a style today, and then in your head, you're just like thinking and just like trying to plot ways to better that style or just come up with a better style tomorrow, if that makes sense,
Yeah. It does make sense.
It's like not being confined to like who you are now. I think that that's the whole point of being a creative person. It's like you, just like you said, you see what other people are doing and you're like, like that guy, that angle he took is kind of, is kind of basic or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
it's not the best angle. I think that if it were me in his shoes, I would have used maybe this lens or I would have used this or whatever it is. And then you could just, make it better.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like let me tell you, I feel like sometimes like when you create something in general, like, and you like look at your work, sometimes it's like, damn, like that work I just did is like crap. Like, what can I do better?
Right.
Like I feel like everyone's like this, but I feel like everyone's like their own biggest like critic.
Biggest critic.
100%.
And it's super hard for you to be your biggest critic and simultaneously be your biggest fan.
Yeah.
Right? I think that that's the other counterpart that everybody forgets about. It's like, oh, okay, everybody's super critical. Like, me included. Every podcast I put out, I always criticize myself as I watch it. I'm like, I could like be a little bit better. I could be, this. Or if I'm doing whatever it is, hypercritical. But then at the same time, you just have to remember, it's like what matters is that you put the effort out there. A lot of people don't even take the steps that you did to create that crappy picture or whatever you're telling yourself is crappy.
Yeah. Do you feel like this? I have a question. Like, do you feel like with that like mentality, because we are like so hard on ourselves, do you feel like it's because of society being so hard?
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like, let me just think on that a little bit.
Yeah, take your time. I know it's like a
no, yeah, that's a great question, and I think so. I think that we're conditioned and programmed to like suppress our own individuality, right?
Yeah.
So if you go to school, in school you're taught to sit in different, like multiple different rows. You're assigned a seat. You can't even like have freedom of movement within the classroom because I think, and this is going to sound super hippie, but I think that the system tries its best to say like, hey, fuck you and your freedom and your self-expression and whatever you think you have control over in this classroom, in this cubicle, in this office space, in this prison, you don't, because we have assigned an authority figure that's going to dictate who you are and what you eat, what you read, and all that bullshit. So I think, yes, I think that we're taught that if you venture outside of the known box, you're automatically ostracized. And everybody else is conditioned and programmed to point fingers at Tiffany and laugh and say, like, you're a loser and you're weird.
Yeah.
For, like, just trying to navigate different waters, if that makes sense.
No, it makes sense. And you know what's funny? Like, I literally was on Instagram and I saw a story on, like, one of my friends' story, actually. And she posted, like, a quote. And I forgot how the quote exactly says, but it was, like, picture of, like, two paths. And it's basically saying, like, you can go one way where everyone goes the same way and you stay the same and you never, like, change and you follow, like, the same steps like everyone follows and you never really find yourself. Or you can take the other path and literally take those mistakes, try something new, and, like, literally find yourself and find something, like, that is, like, a purpose to you. And, like, literally it's like the two paths, there's like a whole crowd going one way and then there's just one person going a different way. And I saw that and I was just like, holy shit, like,
that's exactly how it is.
Yeah, like,
and I think that there's a lot of risk versus reward when it comes to that. So I think, like, I believe in crowd mentality and in like tribal thinking. So just like you said, like, there's a crowd of people that's going this way because those people, they're not thinking individually anymore. Like, they're thinking at a crowd level, at a group level. So once that happens, you're just stripped of any understanding of just who you are. Like you just accept whatever the group dictates for you.
Yeah.
And then once you go alone down that path, it's going to be lonely. It's going to be risky because you don't know what's at the end of that path, because you don't see anybody else like reassuring you and giving you, like reinforcing you that your action is like warranted. It's like it's a good thing that you're going down that path because everybody else is going over there.
Yeah.
And so I think that it's more risky, and the odds of you falling on your face and busting your ass and just like making mistakes and failing is 100 times higher than going with the crowd. But once you do get past that part, I think that the rewards are infinitely greater because you just learn and grow as a person.
Yeah, and then, like I feel like you just like really try to find your like self in general, and then like you said, like we were like forced at a young age to like follow this like certain like system or like this like rule in like life that like you have to follow like the rules that's like given to you and stuff. And you know what? I think that kind of sucks because back then when we were like younger, we're probably just like, oh, we don't know much.
Yeah.
And we like again, we were younger, and like you just like don't think about all the things that happens. But like now, like as you get older, you're just like, oh, there's an infinite like possibility of me being whatever I want to be. And you know what? That's one thing I'm like low key jealous of the generation today, because I feel like even with all the explosion with like social media and like TikTok and all of them, like there's like younger generations who are taking the risk now at a younger age to doing what they want to do. And like low key, I am not gonna lie, I am jealous because I wish like I could start my passion when I was younger or like something.
Like you could see a lot of 12, 13-year-old kids whose parents are like, oh, like, yeah, my kid wants to be a professional streamer.
Yeah.
Professional Twitch person, like a YouTuber. Like those are career paths. My dog is barking right now. I'm just gonna text my sister real quick.
Yeah, no, don't worry.
Sorry.
No.
Just give me a sec.
He's adorable.
Yeah, no, he's
How old is he?
He's a little over 2 years old. So he's just like a big teenager at this point.
Oh my god. My girlfriend's dealing with her brother's dog, and he's a puppy, and he's like medium sized big, and all he wants to do is like bite and like rip things apart.
Really?
Well, he's like a border collie mix.
Oh, okay.
So
like, he's just energetic and stuff.
Yeah, and like he's like always ready to like bite stuff because like sheeps, they're known for like herding sheep. So like he's like always like nipping at people sometimes.
No, I always had huskies, and in Brazil I had 2 huskies.
Oh.
And my first husky, like I didn't really know how to like raise a dog, let's say. So he did just that. Like he bit the furniture, he destroyed my mom's entire house. Like he just did, like he just went rampant. Like because we didn't know how to train him and stuff. And then with Shadow, as soon as we got him, like we learned our lesson, and then we took him to a trainer. So as soon as he could like understand, like cues and stuff, we took him to a training school. And then now but he's still agitated in terms of like when strangers come in, like guests or even like relatives and stuff that he hasn't seen for a while, he'll just jump and play. But he never bit anyone. He doesn't bite at all. He teats. Teeths?
Yeah,
teeth.
teeth.
Yeah. Just like playing around and stuff, but nothing crazy. And I think it stopped. So we're back in business.
Okay.
I just hate when that happens because like it's hard, and it only gets at like this at night because he gets anxious, I guess. But yeah, I don't know why he does that, and then it kind of picks up on the audio. But it's fine.
I was just about to say like this mic is like so sensitive, but it's really good though.
And you hear him right like through this and stuff, and then if you took it off, like it's kind of more distant.
But like through the mic, you can like literally hear it.
So there was a question that I was gonna get to.
Yeah, take your time. Don't worry.
We were talking about. What were you talking about just now? But like before he was about individuality and stuff, right? So do you feel at times, all right, so would you rather be, and this kind of like a tricky question, but maybe not. Would you rather be the most popular not the most popular, but amongst the most popular people on Instagram, let's say?
Okay.
And then with that comes all of the accolades, comes all of the opportunities, the brands reach out, like you become rich and millionaire, whatever. You're like Justin Bieber famous, right?
Oh my
You're like
God.
Drake famous.
I don't know if I want all that paparazzi on me.
Paparazzi all the time, like they're like sneaking in your bushes and taking, like trying to whatever.
Oh my God.
That, or you do what you love, even if nobody really understands it, and you're like alone, but you feel fulfilled. So you're taking the pictures that you love, and then you show it to everyone, and everybody's like, ugh, like I don't get it, and like nobody's really like your fan. Nobody like really likes what you produce, but you love it, and you look at that, and every time you're like, oh my God, this is so satisfying. Like I love this, and you just wake up every morning, and you're like, I'm gonna, do it again, and like, what would you choose?
Honestly, like, that's like an easy question.
Yeah.
And that's like the second thing you said, like not the fame, not the fortune.
Good. Me too. Same
Yeah,
thing.
because like in the end, like it doesn't matter if someone likes your picture, like, or anything, because it's your like eyes, it's like what you like. Like there's always going to be people judging it. There's always going to be people like being like, oh, but you could have done this.
Yeah.
But like in the end, it's like it's your imagination, it's your creativity. Like this is what you vision. And you know what's another thing I've learned in the past? There's always going to be like someone like watching you from the very beginning. Like no matter what, like there's always going to be that one person who's going to be like, okay, I see where they're coming. Let's see what's the next thing that they're going to make. Oh, okay, I see that they did this now. Let's see what's the next thing. And it's on and on. And like, let's just say your creativity or like whatever you create gets better and better in the future. Eventually that person might reach out and be like, oh, how did you get into it? Like, how did you get started? How did you do this? How did you do that? Because like, that's how like it happens really in the future, and then that's how you like sometimes you gain more exposure like that.
Yeah. It's through those like, and I was thinking about that just the other day actually, about how like this podcast, right?
Yeah.
I tell this to every guest, like the objective isn't to be famous, right? It isn't to be the first example that I just told you, like be the Joe Rogan of the podcast. Like if it happens, cool. Like if it happens, great, right? Because it's a product of like my other intention, which isn't solemnly that one, if that makes sense, right? So what I'm trying to say is the goal is to do the latter of what I told you of like doing what I feel passionate about, which is reaching out to people who I think are interesting, who I think are doing dope stuff, and who I'm genuinely curious about.
Yeah.
And I want to sit down and just actually pick their brains and hear what they want to like say or what they have to say, and just like kind of put myself in your shoes and just kind of like understand where you're coming from as a human being, like human being first, creative, and then whatever comes after that, like, and then expand from there. So I know I'm going everywhere right now.
No. I like it. I like it though. I like it.
But then like through that, if it so happens that one episode, after hundreds of episodes, let's say, one episode pops off and then that one becomes viral and then this show just blows up, right?
Yeah.
Let's say, great. But that's not the intention here. It's not like thinking like, oh, I'm going to have Tiffany today and then I'm going to have 5 more people after that. And then I have to post at this time and use these hashtags because then people are more active. And then I have to check my, like, I don't do any of that. It's like, I'll just post at midnight. I'll post at 3 a.m. Like, I don't care. Like, I just want to get stuff out there when I feel like it's naturally
like
the time to do it. Yeah.
And you know what? I 100% support you on that. And I love it because literally, I think that's just you being true to yourself. 100%. And like I do social media marketing and digital content, and
you
like
do?
yeah.
Oh.
So that's like what I really do, like main job wise.
Okay.
But like I see like the stuff that happens like all the time, like and like the stress that people get.
Oh my God.
And dude, like even like from work, like if I don't post something up like immediately, like I like could get like a text from my boss is like, oh, did you do it? Like, oh, you have to make sure you do it. And like it creates this like anxiety and uncomfortable environment. And like sometimes like I love it and sometimes I hate it, but like in the end, like it's something that you like, so you have to try to do it. But if it's like for you personally, honestly, like I would do the same that you do. Like just like post whenever like is like when you want
feels
to.
like it, yeah.
Yeah.
And what you just said is exactly what I feel about social media in general. It's like it's a love-hate relationship, because just like you said too, it's to what's the expression? To change the game, you have to play the game.
Yes.
Right.
Oh my God.
So that's something that I always fought against. Like I've always been super stubborn and ignorant towards that because I would believe like, oh, as long as I put out my creations or whatever I feel like I want to, like my messages or whatever I want to convey to the world, in due time it'll reach as many people as possible. But then you kind of have to find like this like middle ground where you have to pivot. You have to understand like, okay, this is how the game works. You have to swallow your pride, swallow your want to say like fuck Instagram, fuck whatever. You have to just go on, smile, do whatever needs to be done, and then the other half you do what you feel is right to do. But you have to kind of play both sides a little bit. And that's something that I really struggled with because I'm a type of person who I'm against authority figures. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just against authority in general. So if you tell me to do something and you like command me to do something, I'll just not like I'll fight to death.
Man,
like, I'm not gonna.
I can only imagine how your mom feels.
No, my mom and I like she actually had to learn over time how to deal with me because I just won't. I don't know.
It's just like a you thing. Like you just don't know
It's
how
a
to
me
explain
thing.
it.
Yeah, like I'm just like if I believe in something, not much can change. Like obviously, I'm not ignorant to like facts and stuff.
Of
So
course.
if I believe, I'm not gonna say that the world is flat.
What do you
if
mean?
I know
the
that
world is flat.
it is flat, right?
It's flat.
I mean, I'm not gonna say that the world is round, being that there's scientific evidence claiming that it is flat.
Yeah.
Right. So I will like pivot. Like one time I was a dumbass who believed the world was round, and then now I'm like just awoken. Like I have like my third eyes open.
Yeah.
And I see that it's flat. But so in those things where like science proves me wrong, I'll pivot. But overall, I just like, if I believe in something, I'm going to go all in, even if everybody around me says that it's not going to work, you're going to fail, it's stupid, everybody else is doing this, so you should do that. And yeah.
I mean, like, it's life. You take a risk. Like, you only live once. Like, honestly, like, I support that. Like,
That's
I really
what I think too. Like, you only live once.
Yeah, like, what was it? So, it was, how many years ago? I think it was like 4 years now. I think it's 3 years, like 3 years. I got like really sick at one point, and like I found out I had like thyroid cancer and everything.
Really?
Yeah, it was like it was when I turned 21 that year. Like I was just like enjoying like the going to the bars, actually being legal, going to bars and stuff, and like literally, I found out I had thyroid cancer, and it was like the most scariest thing.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
No,
Jeez.
it's fine. Like it's like so. In the past, like I never talked about it. Like it's like hard to talk about it sometimes because my grandma also had it in the past, and like she had complications, and like that's like one of the reasons she passed away today. So like it's like something like it's sensitive, but like at the same time, I feel like it's like needed to be talked to because like I wasn't expecting to get it like at a young age.
Of course, I don't think anybody expects it.
Yeah. And like I just think about like that whole situation, like thank God like I'm fine and everything. And even though like thyroid cancer, like the doctor says like is nothing, it's still like eye
opening thing.
Yeah, because like literally you're just like, wow, like this could happen like within a few months, because it literally happened within a few months. Like I thought I had like a sore throat, and then a month later like I found out like I had thyroid cancer.
Crazy.
Yeah, and like that's why I'm just like in my head like life is like too short, and like that's why I'm always like smiling. I'm always laughing, like because like
amazing.
Yeah, because like life is really too short, and like my mom tells me like it's not worth
stressing
and being upset. Like sometimes it gets the best of us. Don't get me wrong, but like in the end, like you have to make the best of it, and like I just try to like do that now.
I agree so much with that, and like I can only applaud you for like being as vulnerable as you just was right now, because I think so my grandma also passed away from cancer, but she had breast cancer, And I kind of witnessed the whole thing. Like I was there from the beginning of it to like through all the chemo sessions, and just like seeing her just going from this person like full of life and energy and always happy and smiling to just becoming this like this like vessel or this shell of her former self, you know, and her just kind of like, I don't know, like I would not wish that on anyone, you know, to like go through at all. And and to this day, like everything I do, I have her like in the back of my mind, because I'm just like thinking, I'm like, especially with the whole fiber fitness thing, like the whole fitness stuff was actually for her, like deep down inside. And then unfortunately it didn't work out, and I might choke up a little bit, but
I'm
but
sorry. Oh
no,
my
no, no, it's
God.
fine. But the whole point is exactly what you said, because like like it puts things into perspective. It makes you really realize, like, what do you do things for? Like, is it for like a bigger house, a better car? Is it to flaunt on social media? Is it to flex on your friends? Is it to
Yeah.
like be like prove that you're better than anyone? Or is it something more like innate and more like purposeful, and that makes you like truly do stuff with like heart and intention and with a smile on your face, just like you said? And I can only imagine how that happening to you at such a young age could like just like flip a switch in your head, and you just view life differently.
It did, because like again, like when I was younger I did so many sports, and like during that time I wasn't doing marketing or anything. I was actually trying to go for like athletic training
Okay.
and like physical therapy, and like it just like kind of gave me like a huge eye opener, and I was just like, am I happy what I'm doing now? Is this what's going to fulfill me? And like I was just like, fuck it, like let me just do what I really like, which is like photography, videography, and then like what goes with it, marketing, because social media is becoming a thing.
Yeah.
And like it's like weird, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie, it's like a weird situation that kind of like was an eye opener, but like
Of course.
at the same time, like I'm thankful. And what was it, like I think that same year when I was like going through it, like I told like a friend of mine like from high school about it, and she invited me to like a cancer relay thing, and she asked me to be one of the speakers. It was at Rutgers.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and like I had a chance to speak in front of like 100 people or more.
Really?
Yeah, because it's just sort of like it was like a relay, so they raised money for like other cancer patients or people who had passed away, and like different like organization like the frats and sororities that were there to like do this thing too. So like I had the chance to explain my story to them, and like it was really weird because it's like they're like around my age and I'm telling them my story, but then there's kids who were there like I think 18, 16 years old, who were also speaking. And like I'm just talking to them, and they're telling me like, yeah, they've been dealing with like cancer for like mostly half of their lives.
Oh my God.
And like I just think about it more, and I'm just like, yo, like sometimes we take life so like for granted so much, and it gets me
100%.
It gets me mad because you don't really realize like
Yeah.
the struggle that other people go through.
100%.
It's like,
Oh, that's crazy.
yeah, like I think that I like to this day I'm thankful for my friend for like like letting me like be a guest speaker and everything. But like it literally like made my eyes like open. It's like something that I needed, because at the end of the night like I had like all these emotions, and I just cried.
Of course.
It was like weird, but like it's just like because I never like cried in front of anyone about it, so I just cried that whole night.
First of all, let me just point out the irony of you being nervous to speak in front of 2 cameras, but you spoke in front of 100 people.
Well, you know what? Like it's weird that like I told
Yeah.
that day I was a nervous wreck too. I'm still nervous right now.
I'm horrible at public speaking. I just get like jittery. I get like shakes. I get diarrhea. I get everything that you could think about. Like it's not pretty when like every
my
time in
God.
school, when we had like a presentation or anything, I would just fake throwing up. I would actually throw up sometimes. I would just like
Stop.
ask to go home. Like I would always avoid any public presentation. It could be in front of the classroom, in front of my friends. I just couldn't do it, which is ironic because now I host a podcast where I'm just like trying just super crazy. I don't know.
Dude, like
Yeah.
I think like what was it when I was younger? Same thing. Like I would like try to run away, but like at that stage, I was like doing this hubba 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 hubba. Like I would like stutter.
Oh, stutter.
Like yeah, I'm like yeah.
Me too. No, I still stutter to this day in Portuguese for some reason.
Really?
Like I'll choke like
It's
super
like the
randomly.
words?
Yeah, like super randomly, and more now because I'm. So I don't know if you know, but so I lived in Brazil. So I went to high school in Brazil.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, tell me.
So full high school in Brazil.
Which part of Brazil?
It's the. I don't know if you're familiar with. Let me see of a state that's kind of famous. Do you know Brasilia? It's
yeah,
like called Brasilia.
I've heard of it.
So it's about like an hour away. It's called Goiás.
Okay, yes.
Goiás. And so I went to. Let me just give you a quick like backstory. So I was born in Brazil, came to the U.S. with my mom when I was around like 2 years old. Grew up in Jersey, moved around a lot. I spent some time in Philly, North Carolina.
Oh Jesus.
North Brunswick, which is Jersey.
Yeah.
But like basically, I just moved around a lot. And then when I was around maybe 13, I moved back to Brazil with my mom, and then we lived there until I was 18. So
wow.
Yeah, so roughly like 5 or 6 years, roughly. I think I was 12. So I went to high school and I finished what do you call it? It's not middle school. So I finished middle school in Brazil, did high school, and then I came back. And so my English and Portuguese kind of really alternated dramatically because I was, like I grew up here and then I had to move to Brazil. I had to learn how to speak Portuguese like correctly. I had to learn how to write basically from the ground up because I didn't really know.
Yeah.
Other than speaking with my mom in the house after school, but I would only speak English here. And then in Brazil, I had to learn everything. And then I came back and I had already forgotten a little bit of my English. So I came back and my English was like super broken and super fucked up. And so I had to just, like do that thing. And then basically like speaking in Portuguese now, I get words mixed up in my head, I guess. And then I just start stuttering like crazy. But yeah.
No, like, dude, I think anyone who's ever in that position would do the same thing because
it's super like nerve wracking too. Like,
yeah.
So do you speak like other languages at all?
So, okay. So I'm laughing because everyone always makes fun of me low key.
Why?
Well, at least my friends because like I would say like I don't speak any other language, but I can understand a little bit, like Spanish, of course.
Okay.
Or like a little bit Chinese, but not like fully. Like I can just like I hear like my parents talk or my friends talk, and I'm just like, okay, I know what they're like kind of talking about. But then my friends will like make jokes, and they'll be like, no, you don't know what I'm talking about.
You don't have any idea what they're talking about.
Yeah, and then
That's
like.
crazy.
But like it's like funny because I had like something similar like that when I was younger. Like, I would go to like both my grandparents' house, and like I was born here in New Jersey, and like lived in the Union basically like my whole life, kind of. But my grandparents, they both lived in Elizabeth, and they both came from their native country. So like my mom came from like Medellin, Colombia, and like my dad came from China, like a small town, like outside of Hong Kong, and they met in Elizabeth, but like basically I would go to both my grandparents' house when I was younger, and literally like they would not know how to speak English, so they would like kind of talk to me like
in the
language, in their language. And then like when I had to like is it kindergarten that you have to go to?
Pre-K, kindergarten.
Yeah,
kindergarten is the one that you have to go to, and then pre-K is like an option if you want to take your kid, I think.
It was like one of them, but like when I started going to school, like that's when like I couldn't really speak English because I would get the words mixed up. So I would say like for example, like I would like want food, but I would want bread. I would be like baba, like. Because like the bread like we eat is baba in Chinese, and then like I would say something else in like Spanish, but it was like it wouldn't be like fluent. It would be like one word.
Yeah, but you would just get them like mixed up in the moment.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure if the teachers like saw me back then, of course, like there's like back then, especially when like languages that weren't like popular to know now, like they were like looking at me like, yo, this kid is like like
This
fucked
kid's
up.
saying like nothing with nothing. What's going on here?
This kid wants baba. What the hell is baba?
We only have bread, kid. Like, you want bread or not?
I'm just like, yeah, give me baba.
And they're like, the fuck is that?
Yeah, so
That's funny, though.
it's funny. Like, it's a funny story to tell because like people always ask like, so like you're Colombian, you're Chinese, you can speak both, right? I'm just like, sadly, no. Or like I can understand it a little bit, but like I wish I can like speak both. But
I was about
lost
to
it.
ask if you have like any want to like maybe eventually learn them or stuff like that.
Oh hell yeah.
Have you ever been to China or to Colombia to like visit?
Okay, so don't hate me. So
No,
I
you haven't?
No, I haven't, but I had like an opportunity to go to both actually
Okay.
when I was younger. So I had a chance to go to China when I was like 5 years old. But I didn't want to go because my sister was like my best friend. And like my older sister was going, but my other sister didn't want to go. And I didn't want to go without my parents because it would be my like Chinese side. I was just like, I don't want to leave my mom. No. So like I didn't go.
Yeah.
And then in high school I had the chance to go to Colombia, but like I was like busy with sports and everything. So in school, so I was just like, I don't really want to leave.
Yeah.
But like I look back at it now, I'm just like, man, like I messed up. Like I wish I went.
Yeah, but you still have time to do that, like in the future and stuff. Do you have any desire to live anywhere else in the world other than the U.S.? If you could, like, let's say
That's a good question.
If you could live somewhere and you're financially secure and you're financially good, and you want to spend like 6 months in a country, like what country would you choose?
Damn. Besides Hawaii.
Besides Hawaii. Yeah,
Okay.
Besides Hawaii. And Cuba. Well, it could be Cuba. Yeah, actually, yeah.
Oh, I don't want to be in Cuba.
Yeah, because Cuba's kind of sketchy right now.
Yeah, like don't get me wrong, the cars are gorgeous.
Yeah, they're from like 1970 or 50s or something.
Yeah, it's like those nice, cool, like retro cars.
Yeah.
But I think the one country I would love to stay at, I have to admit, it's like been my favorite, but like I have multiple, but this one has been like my favorite is like Australia.
Australia.
Yeah, I love.
What about it do you like attracts you?
Australia is just like a gorgeous place. It's like
looks amazing.
It's gorgeous. It has unique animals that could kill you. All the animals that
all
could kill
around you too, like a spider, red widow, I think is what it's called.
Is it called a red widow?
Black widow.
Oh no, but we have black widows here.
We do, right?
Yeah. Did you know that?
I didn't know.
You know that the Australians have these huge spiders that are like the size of the birds.
I've seen videos on Twitter, I think, of like Australians filming stuff that they find in their house and stuff, and it's just like these huge animals that, I don't fuck with that.
Yeah, I mean, like, don't get me wrong. Like, I had a friend who lived in Australia, and she would tell me like that's only in like the outskirts of the cities. Let's just say if you live there, not in like the main cities. So that's what's telling me like, okay, I'll survive.
So that's kind of like in the farmlands of like Australia, kind of like the outskirts, just like you said. It's like more rustic.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
But like you're still gonna see like wildlife, the ones that are trying to kill you. Like I'm pretty sure, what was it? There was like I think I saw on Twitter too, like this huge spider that was on the garbage can. I don't know.
I saw a few spiders from Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen some like on the ceiling. I've seen sharks. The sharks there are huge. They jump out of the water to like eat the birds or some shit like that. Something crazy.
Great white sharks. I love sharks.
Yeah.
That's
you love sharks?
I love sharks. I have a shark decal on my car. Like
Really?
I love sharks. They're beautiful creatures.
Have you ever like met one up close?
I know. Well, actually, by accident, when I was in Key West, I think it was last year. I was probably 2019. I was we were doing like snorkeling, and like me and my cousin jumped in, and when we jumped in, there was like a nurse shark that was just passing by, and we were like next to it, and it was like gorgeous. And what nurse sharks are not deadly anyone.
Let me just Google that because I have no idea what you're talking about right now.
Yeah.
like nurse shark.
Yeah.
Is it like similar to like a great white, like in terms of
No,
looks? No.
no, nothing like that.
Nurse shark. Let's see. Oh,
Those are
I've
like
seen these before.
those are one of the sharks that you want to have by you because they
Okay.
don't bite you. They don't attack humans at all. So these are the sharks that you actually want by you.
Oh, yeah. They have like multiple fins and stuff, or these things right here. I don't know what they're called.
Or yeah,
These right here. Fins,
fins.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what shark is like really ugly?
Hammerhead.
No, actually, hammerheads are really ugly.
Yeah.
Goblin shark. Poor goblin shark.
I think I've heard of it. A goblin shark. Oh,
And those are
I've
scary.
seen these. I think I've seen it on National Geographic's like a show, I think, or something like that.
Shark Week, probably.
Maybe, yeah. And then its mouth kind of like expands kind of weirdly, and then it gobbles in, and then it goes back in, or some shit like that.
Yeah. It's like it's one of the like oldest sharks. It's not the oldest, but it's like one of the oldest sharks that has that feature, and like it lives like down in the depths of the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I think that was like my favorite shark when I was growing up, just because how different it was.
It looks crazy. It kind of looks like a dinosaur, like something that was like roaming with the dinosaurs, you know?
Definitely, 100%. Like, look at that picture. That's definitely like back then. And
Like prehistoric and shit.
have you seen the megalodons?
Megalodons, yes.
Yeah.
At one point, I was obsessed with them. Even before that famous movie came out.
The Megalodon movie? Yeah.
Like even before that, I saw a few like documentaries of them comparing the mouth with like a human body and stuff,
And like a great white shark
it's
one?
huge. Yeah, like the great white shark is like this big, and then the megalodon is like huge. Like I don't know,
Yeah.
she looks wild. Do you think they still exist?
Oh, I was just about to ask you that. Like, I honestly, low key in my heart, I want to say they do.
Mm-hmm.
I know, like, I want to say that that movie that came out, the Megalodon movie, like, I want to be like, yeah, that's like really what happened. Like,
Yeah.
they're actually stuck underneath that layer. Because,
Yeah.
like, that layer, what was it?
I'll just Google it real quick.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Megalodon. It's like an ice layer type of thing.
No, it's like this, like, fog layer. It's actually, like, they have a couple people who actually passed that layer.
Are you talking about? Oh, it's something trench.
Yeah. Maradona or something.
Mary something trench,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Oh, Mariana Trench is right there.
Oh yeah, exactly that. Yeah.
Yeah, like so I
Mariana
honestly
Trench, yeah.
like because they did a documentary where they had like people actually go down there for like a couple of like minutes or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
and then they brought them back up. But when they went down there, they found like different creatures down there, and it was like it's pitch black. So like in reality, like, and I've like watched videos, not to be weird or anything. I watched videos of people talking about it, and honestly, it could be like a megalodon could be alive. Let's just say
Yeah.
underneath that the Mariana Trench.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not how they were back then, like in the prime time, like the
Yeah.
most scariest shark. It could be that now, like their body, like transformed, and they could be blind, and that they could
Ooh.
actually be eating like something else, like planktons or like bigger fishes that are down in the Mariana Trench.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they did say that it could not be true too, because they're such a big creature that they need like a lot of food to be eating.
That makes a lot of sense evolutionary wise, because just like you said, back then they had like these weird dinosaur era type animals in the ocean, and then
Yeah.
maybe that was like their main meal, and then once those went extinct, they had to just adapt over time and feed off of plankton or something like that.
Yeah, that's the sad part, but also beauty into it, kind of.
Yeah.
Because then you see like how like everything like transforms because
It's
of
always
nature.
changing.
Yeah, like what was it? Did you know that we're not really supposed to be having like dairy products at all?
I've seen a few theories on that, on how objectively it's super weird, because if you think about it, like we're stealing this like this life formula
Yeah.
from another mammal,
Yeah.
and it's not really meant to like satiate us, and not really meant to like as like a nutrition thing. Is that the theory? I don't know.
Well, I was thinking about like how our body is because us as humans, you know how people have like lactose intolerant or they're lactose intolerant.
Yeah.
So like when they're lactose intolerant, it's because like the body can't like process the dairy product itself.
Mm-hmm.
So like people have said that like us as human beings, we have been evolved too much too quickly, especially with the internet too. That like sometimes like our body is like deteriorating because of it. Because
Oh.
like we can't like process or do stuff how we would. Because normally like our evolution has evolved 10 times quicker than any other. If you
Okay.
think about it.
Yeah.
So like us like with like lactose intolerant as an example, like not everyone can like process that. Like some people can, but not everyone processes it. But we're not supposed to be even like eating dairy products too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a whole like curveball that goes through us. But like as our human beings also like we've been like we'll like get like different curveballs thrown at each other like left to right.
Because we've also been marketed by mainstream companies, for example, to consume dairy products. And then there's that famous campaign, Got Milk, right?
Yeah.
Which is the one that really catapulted the whole thing. But what you said makes sense, though, because I would think that the only time that humans are supposed to drink milk is at like the nursery phase. It's like when you're developing as an infant and then you have
Yeah.
to like, and then it makes sense, but it's from your mother. It's from the person who bore you,
Yeah, and she has the like the nutrients that you actually really need to
The
have.
correct ones, and it's not processed. It's not infused with like steroids
Yeah.
or you don't go through the cow's diet, right? The cow is eating I don't know, like eating poorly and it's being injected with like these steroids or like all of those things that make the milk more profitable, I guess. I don't
Which
know.
is scary to be honest, because
It's horrifying.
you don't really think about it, and I feel bad about that to be honest.
Yeah.
Like that's like one of the things I think about, and I'm just like, damn, like I wonder how this cow feels.
Mm-hmm.
Or like just like any like other, it's like all the animals, but like it's just like you're really putting stuff in your body that's really bad for you in the end. And I think that's what kind of like messes us up later on too.
Yeah. No, for sure. And we're stripping the cow of its like naturally given like substance that it's meant for like her cattle, like it's meant for her is that the right word for baby cows, cattle?
Is it calves?
Calves. Yeah. So
You're close. You're close.
so it's meant for them and not for humans, and then we just go and literally milk the shit out of it, and then it suffers because of it. And it's funny that you bring up like a cow's feeling and stuff, because I mentioned this on a past podcast about are you familiar with like DMT?
DMT, that sounds familiar to be honest.
Ayahuasca ceremonies in Peru. It's like a psychedelic experience.
Oh, wait, is this the one that like they have to burn something and then they have to like there's different, that sounds so familiar. I seen it on a video. It was a video, actually it was a video for I think a group of content creators that they actually had to do that whole process. And it was like a group of them because they wanted to also get blessed at the same time too.
I think it's part of that too,
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like so the easiest way to explain it is if you go to an ayahuasca ceremony, it's exactly what you said. Like they have incenses and they like burn these herbs to kind of like purify your soul, purify your surroundings, and purify the environment. But it's essentially this drug that you ingest, and then it's supposed to connect you with like this other dimension.
That's cool.
Like it gets crazy to a point where people who have been on it, on both DMT and ayahuasca, they've painted what they see, and look what like comes up. Watch, I'll show you.
I'm curious. I want to see this.
DMT artwork. It's super trippy. But they claim that this allows you access into like this other dimension when you're on it. So this is what you see kind of. So this is probably someone's living room, and then it turns into this.
I would. Whoa.
It's just crazy. Like it's.
I will. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I would love to try this just to see.
Just to see what happens.
Yeah.
It's like, just try it out.
Because I know that the video that I saw was like it was like a group of like popular content creators, and they were going. I forgot where they were going, but they were going to do like this big thing that was like a huge like content. Like I forgot where, but they were going somewhere where it's kind of dangerous. But they said that to do that like ritual, is it?
Ritual, yeah.
They said that they had to do that ritual, and like each one person like went through it, and they said that like their like time doing it was like amazing. And like I was curious about it, and
No,
like
I'm super curious about it.
yeah, like I'm just like, if you can see that, like
No, and it was probably ayahuasca because Peru is not like, it's kind of dangerous too. Like it's like a world country, just like Brazil is and stuff. It's kind of
yeah,
like a lot of crime. So maybe it was, but the whole idea of this is like during the ceremony, the experience itself, especially with ayahuasca, isn't the most pleasant one because a lot of people, they purge. So they throw up, they have episodes,
really,
they cry, they scream. And the whole idea is for you to really purge all of the energy, spiritual energy, they say, and just like relieve yourself of any like emotional baggage that you have. And then just coming full circle with what you said about the cow, one of the craziest things is that they recommend you go on like a strict vegan diet a week prior to the ceremony so that you don't experience the traumas of the animals that you ate. Because during this ceremony, you'll experience the trauma of the chicken that you ate yesterday. You'll experience the trauma of the cow that you drank the milk of. You'll experience and feel their traumas. It's the craziest thing ever.
I'm telling you right now, if that happened to me, I think I would lose myself. Like
lose your shit.
Yeah, I would lose my shit.
Yeah, me too. Because I don't even know what that means.
I'm just like, I'm visually imagining me sobbing because I like drank some cow's milk, and like literally I could see the cow being tortured. Yo, you know how you see those PETA
oh yeah. Those
videos?
like factory farming videos and stuff. Yeah.
Yo, I feel like imagine eating a chicken from there and then doing this.
No.
I feel like I would be so messed up.
You would sob uncontrollably on the ground.
Exactly. I feel like I'd be crying and just be like, I don't want you chicken no more. And
a lot of people turn vegan because of this.
Yeah, no. Oh, because of this?
Yeah, because like they're just traumatized and they'll go like on a strict just nature diet. It's like they'll only consume stuff that nature produces, you know, like fruits, vegetables, that's it. Insects, maybe. Yeah. Like cricket protein is on the rise, actually. People are consuming it. I don't know.
You know, I saw, I don't know how it got on my feed. Don't ask me. Okay. But I saw this girl grabbing cicadas. Because this year is supposed to be the big year for the cicadas.
It's like 15 years, right? Like they spend 15 years underground and then they come up, I think.
I thought it was every 7 years, no?
Is it 7 years? It might be 7 years. I might have just made that up.
No. It's like either 15 or 7 because I just remember in high school, the cicada cycle was like my senior or junior year, and I remember walking home and I was like freaking the F out.
It says there are at least so there's 15 separate cycles.
Okay, so you were half right.
Some emerge every 17 years, while others come out every 13 years.
Okay, so I don't know. No, I don't know where I got 7 years from.
Yeah, so she was eating these?
Yeah, so she was like, this girl was like grabbing the cicadas coming out from the shell and even grabbed the old shells. She literally put in a box. She froze them to death because she said that's the most like humane way to do it. And then she put them on the pan, fry them, and then she put this type of sauce on it or something like that. I don't know what the sauce is, but she put a type of sauce, like all the seasoning on it.
That's crazy.
I'm telling you this. It's like mad crazy. And like it literally looked like fried chicken in the end, kind of. And then you eat it, and she says like really good because it's supposed to give you all these proteins and other stuff. But in my head, I'm just like, you're eating not a creature, you're eating an insect that has like big red eyes and makes loud noises. How the hell can you do that?
I'm gonna try to find this video. Do you think it's on YouTube?
Maybe.
Girl
eating cicadas.
Eating.
I'm pretty sure I saw it on Instagram, but it was
Yeah, it was probably maybe if I go on Google.
If I find that video, I'm gonna send it to you.
Eating cicadas. Oops.
Cause it was, oh
Is it this girl?
no, like she actually shows the whole process of like cooking it and
Oh,
everything.
no. Yeah, no. If you find it, just like send me it, because I'm like I get curious, but at the same time, I'll probably start gagging. So I'm like, oh Jesus, it's just super disgusting to think about eating insects in general.
It's so weird. Like no, I don't. I feel you. I feel you. Like, have you ever ate in?
No.
No.
No, but I have one friend, shout out to Beto. He's actually Brazilian,
Okay.
and he lives in Brazil, and he went to China once.
Oh man.
And in China, I think at like the food market, he
Yeah.
ate cockroaches, I think, or something like that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Is that like normal, or like what's going on there? Like,
You know what? Like people, that's actually like we find it weird here, but
he said there it's completely normal. Like
Yeah,
everybody does it, and it's not that bad according to him.
I was just about to say like, so like, yeah, like anywhere like in general, like you'll find weird stuff that people eat.
Like regional stuff. That's like their thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, so cockroach, I remember seeing that and hearing about that, and like it is a thing in China, and like how they do it is like the similar how they do the scorpions too. Have you seen people eat scorpions?
I've seen scorpions. I've seen scorpions, grasshoppers. I've seen cockroaches. Yeah.
The worms too.
Worms. Yeah. Like larva worms or something like that. Yeah.
Survival of the fittest.
Yeah. But that's literally it though. Like if you think about it, you'll make do with what you have abundance of. So, excuse me. So like for example, we view shrimp as a delicacy.
Yeah.
We view shrimp as like this higher end thing, and lobsters too, but if you remove them from the water, like they look like insects basically, because they're insects of the sea kind of thing, you know?
Ooh, that's a good perspective.
Isn't it?
I didn't think about that. That's a really great perspective, actually.
Because they're super weird. Look, like if you get an uncooked shrimp, it has all of those like legs and stuff. Like it looks terrifying, but then you eat it, and then it's presented in like a bowl at like a French restaurant, a higher end restaurant, and then everybody's like, "Oh, this is chic. Like this is what it is." Yeah. So like that's why I don't like have any prejudice like prejudices, or I don't like judge any culture that eats anything weird. Like there are cultures that eat bull testicles.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
You know,
I've heard of that.
It's like you just make do with what you have. So if in China you have this abundance of like maybe rodents and stuff, and there's protein in that, and like you said, survival of the fittest, and why not? You know, like
no, it's true. And you know what? Like I'm pretty sure people like from outside of the country looks at us weird too, because like we eat cow, and like in India, for example, they don't eat cow at all. They let them free.
It's like sacred there, right?
Yeah, it's sacred. And then what was it? I went to Portugal like in 2018, and I was with my best friend, and we went to this like a restaurant, or like this someone's house that makes food and they sell them. And literally the sign was like saying horse meat. Ooh. And I'm just like making faces. I was like, wait, they sell horse meat here?
And did you guys eat it?
No, we didn't eat it. I can't do it.
What's the weirdest food that you've ever ingested?
Okay, so the weirdest food I've ever ingested was if I'm not mistaken, I think a squirrel's heart.
A squirrel's heart?
Yeah. Oh no, it wasn't a squirrel's heart. It was you know the red squirrels? Not chipmunks. It's like apparently a red squirrel or something. Me. I was offered to eat a squirrel's heart, but I said no. My sister did that.
Oh wow!
It was for ROTC, which is like Junior Reserves Officers Training Corps.
Okay.
And it was in high school, and like me and my sister's done it for like forever, basically. But we went to basic camp, which is like just like a
boot camp type of thing.
Yeah, basically like a boot camp. That's what it is. So it's not your regular like fun like summer camp. It's like a boot camp where you actually have to do.
It's like a military type of thing vibe.
Yeah,
kind of like discipline.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
But like it was fun because it wasn't just our high school. It was like other people together, and we did things together. So we did like competitions, we did like all the stuff that you have to do,
Yeah.
and they taught us like stuff that we should eat and not eat in like the wilderness and like
Oh, like a survival thing.
yeah. So
Now
like
it makes sense. I'm like trying to like understand where do squirrel hearts come into play?
it's
But now it makes sense. Yeah,
yeah.
survival. You're in the woods and you see squirrels all around you. Like, what should you? Okay.
Like so I ate like squirrel meat, but the squirrel heart I didn't eat. But like you can put like season it and stuff, and like honestly, like it tastes like chicken.
Everything tastes like chicken, right?
Yeah.
Like that's a common thing. Like, oh, like someone's eating Bigfoot. Like, oh, like what does it taste like? It tastes like chicken.
It
It's
tastes
like
like chicken.
it's all in the seasoning, and that goes into play with like veganism too. Like
Yes.
all of vegan meat is basically tofu, and then tofu is like this clay that you can kind of mold into steak, and you can kind of mold into fish. You can mold into chicken.
What like hamburgers too? What?
Like I don't know how to explain it, but my sister's vegan, and
Oh, she is.
yeah. And she'll buy like tofu, and then she'll make like different variations of it. So she'll make like chicken, and then she'll make like a beef type of thing. I don't know how to explain it,
Oh,
but she
that's
does her own thing with like different seasonings and stuff. I don't know.
that's awesome though,
And
because
yeah,
like my mom loves tofu. Don't get me wrong.
yeah,
And then like I go to this Chinese restaurant, and it's like I don't know how to explain it. So they have this like bowl, and it's like all white. It's tofu.
mm-hmm.
But then they have this like syrup that you add into it, and it makes it sweet. So it's like a type of breakfast entree you can eat in the morning time, because that's what me and my mom do, and like my family, we get it at like a dim sum place. I don't know the proper name for it, but I know it's tofu, and the syrup is like a clear syrup, and when you eat it, it's like sweet.
Oh,
And you mix it together, and it's honestly really good. It's like one of my favorites, and I don't like tofu.
that's so interesting.
Yeah.
See, like I would never think of tofu as being like a breakfast thing, and then again, it is. You know, it's because like tofu is that weird thing that could be anything.
Yeah.
It's just wild to me. And there's protein in it too. Like it's like packed with like nutrients and stuff, I think. And you could just,
All the stuff that we don't get every day.
yeah, literally. So right now, which is crazy to me, like we're already at 1 hour and 6 minutes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
So we should start wrapping up, but
Yeah.
so I don't know if you ever saw any of the past episodes, but at the very end, I like to ask people to pretend like they're walking on the world stage.
Oh, my God.
Do you know what's coming or no?
No, I don't, but I'm scared.
Don't be scared.
Okay.
Everybody gets like everybody rolls their eyes as soon as I'm like explaining it and stuff, because they're like, oh my God, like what am I gonna say? But imagine, no pressure. Like, you're just walking on the world stage. Everybody on the planet
Okay.
is given an ear device, right? Where everything you say right now is going to be translated into their language, so they're going to understand you clearly and perfectly.
So everyone's like listening to me.
Everybody's
basically.
stopping their lives right now, waking up wherever they are. Everybody has their eyes on you.
Wow, that's a pressure.
No pressure, right?
No.
Like, it's just like simple.
Oh, yeah.
It's
No
whatever.
pressure.
So, walking on the world stage, staring into that camera.
Oh, man.
Don't overthink it. It could be one word. It could be one phrase. It could be a question. It could be an advice. It could be a lesson. It could be anything you feel in the moment that you want to tell all of humanity if you had the opportunity, and you do right now. So just look at that camera and just say whatever you feel like you need them to hear, like you want the world to hear right now.
You know what? Because of everything going on right now, I think that damn, this is so weird. I feel like I'm like a president or something. Like,
That's how you should feel, because you're talking to the whole world right now.
damn.
You're more popular than Drake, Justin Bieber, everybody.
I don't know about that. Drake,
And they're all watching right now too. Like Drake's like, hold up, like, well, what does Tiffany have to say right now?
imagine he's like,
She's
what?
like, stop recording the album, you know, like let's listen to what she has to say.
Oh my God. This okay. So if I had the chance to like talk to the whole world and they were listening, I think I would tell them like to live their life to the fullest, be happy, enjoy everything that you're doing now. Don't take anything for like regret, and that like you should honestly just be thankful for everything that you do and like have coming for you, because everything's like you just never know what's the possibility. You like anything can happen to you. So like take the moments that you have now and make the best of it. Like literally make the memories.
100%.
I think that's
That's amazing. Yeah.
I think that's what I would say. Like if it's like, especially now, like with everything that happened with COVID,
Especially,
I like a lot of people lost people that they loved. A lot of people went through hard stuff. Like everyone went through everything together without realizing it.
Yeah.
Sometimes like don't get me wrong, people know, but like I think people don't know the depths of like how like connected other people are because they don't show it.
Yeah. Or just how valuable life is, right? Because like moments like COVID, which I lost a fair amount of people as well, like close friends, I lost mentors.
I'm sorry.
It happens, and it probably happened to a lot of people out there. And I think that it's like, especially during these times when you see all this hardship going on around you, you see people falling left and right. It's when you really have to like be honest with yourself and just ask like, what is life to you? And what do you want to get out of it? You know, because I think it's easy, just like you said, to take everything for granted, to wake up every day and just assume that, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, I'll finally do whatever I like really want to do. And then for now, I'll just, continue at my shitty job at my 9 to 5. I'll, continue clocking in. I'll continue putting my dreams aside in order to pay bills, in order to just get by and do this and that.
Yeah.
Thinking that way, I think, is the most flawed thing that we humans do, because we always assume that we're going to be alive in 10 years. I could die tomorrow.
Honestly, knock on wood. Like,
knock on wood, yeah. But
like, God forbid that.
Yeah, but you have to think, like, obviously not paranoid in a sense where you wake up every day and you're scared to go outside because you're like, oh, like, I could die. Like, I'm not going to do this. Not paranoid, but you have to just understand that life is like, nothing's granted. Like nothing is given to you, nothing's guaranteed.
Yeah.
That's the word I'm looking for. It's like nothing's guaranteed. So you just have to, just like you said, put on a smile and just be happy, and just be as happy as you can, and try to spread positivity to those around you, because I know very well that there's like a lot of negativity out there. Like it's hard for you to keep a positive mindset.
It's hard, you know what? It's mostly because of like what society puts us through. It's like the pressure and everything. And then you know what? That's what gets people like not motivated to do like anything that they want. And you know what? Like, I'm not gonna lie, I've been there, like, and there's my bad.
No,
I've been there like in the past. Like, there's times that like I literally disappear from my friends. There's times that I literally disappear from like my work, and it's because like I'm not mentally there right now to just do it. And like I try to like help other people, but sometimes you can't help other people when you're like not there.
Exactly. You have to put the oxygen mask on yourself if you want to help the person next to you. Like, that's what they tell you on the airplane.
Yeah.
It's like, how are you going to save the person next to you if you can't save yourself?
Yeah, and it's sad because you want to help other people, but at the same time, it's just like you can't do it right now. Like, how?
I think it's okay to be selfish in order for you to be selfless, if that makes sense. Like, you have to kind of worry about yourself and how you are right now if you want to give people the best version of yourself, if possible.
No, I agree 100%. And like sometimes, like, even when you know someone is going through something like rough, like a little like, hey, like, just know you're not alone, or like a little like, hey, like, just know like you got this. And like just saying those little stuff like helps people like tremendously.
Like small little messages like that, 100%. So with that, that was a great message. I think that I would say something similar too, like to that extent, especially during these times where everybody kind of suffered together and kind of went through the same thing, like faced the same enemy type of thing.
Yeah.
And I think it was the first time, at least in my lifetime, and I think in your lifetime and everybody's lifetime listening to this, that we saw the world kind of like rally together to face this one common enemy instead of like facing each other, if that makes sense.
No, definitely 100%. And like, I think this like past year in general was like a roller coaster for everyone. Even now, like, it's still going on now for everyone. And it's like what else can go wrong, sadly? But like, it happens. It's like life. And this is just a different version that we're going through right now. Like, it's always going to happen. It's going to be a different thing. Yeah. Apparently, like, aliens are real, so.
Yeah. June 1st.
Is when they're supposed to announce?
They're supposed to announce it.
So
save the date.
Yes.
and we'll see what the Pentagon has to tell us, and we'll see if we believe in him.
Do you believe?
100%.
I'm with you.
100%.
I'm so with you.
Space is still, I don't know, like, listen, like, I'm not a religious person. I don't know if you are.
Okay. No, I'm the camera's on me. I can't say this, Mom.
Mom, turn this off real
Mom,
quick.
at this moment, don't listen to what I'm about
Close your
to
eyes,
say.
la 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 la, just like, you know, start singing.
I'm religious.
Yeah.
I am religious. Like I spiritually more. Like I like to be more spiritual.
Me too.
I think there's like some like flaws and old like things that are in like certain contexts. Let's just say that should not be applied now.
It's like outdated concepts, right? Yeah, I agree 100%. Like I'm really spiritual to a point where like I meditate every single morning. I try to like journal even. Like I'm just very in touch with my emotional side and my spiritual side too. Like I try to keep those two things like always as healthy as possible. As much as I try to keep my body, like I try to keep my mind and my soul kind of thing.
You're like inner child.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why childlike creativity is important to me, which is what Kanye said.
Yes.
It's like always like trying to manifest that childlike creativity in everything you do. So it's like that childlike curiosity through this podcast. Like I'll ask seemingly dumb questions sometimes, but it's like things that maybe my inner child wants to know, you know, like it's like, it seems stupid, but so yeah, so those things I think you can never let die out. And the saddest thing that you can see is like a grown ass person who has no trace of their child, like their inner child.
Yeah, you know what? But that again, that leads back to like society, like literally back.
They killed it.
Yeah, like back then, like compared to now, at least, like back then, like people were taught differently. Now it's like it's more free spirit, at least in the areas that we live. Like there's still like areas in United States like
that are more like conservative and like kind of like just antiquated in their way of thinking.
Yeah, which is, you know what, like really sad because you're only seeing one perspective and not seeing the whole rainbow in it.
Yeah. 100%.
And like I feel bad for those people, low key.
Yeah, because they're selling themselves short, because like they're not allowing themselves to kind of be welcome into what the what do you call it? The shared consciousness is like participating in this conversation, and there are a lot of people who are being left out, but not be like by choice of the shared consciousness, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's like it's by their own resolve that they're just refusing to step into that room and sit at that table, and so they're just being left behind. And so like just like you said, like we can't help but feel bad for them, you know, because like they think that they're going against what the shared consciousness believes in, but in reality they're just going against themselves.
Yeah, and
so they're just being left behind.
It's what can you do? Like, there's only so much you can do for that 1% or like the people who thinks that way, unless they want to like see the other side. And like slowly, like I think the whole United States knows it, but like at the same time, it just depends on like the people that is surrounding them. Also,
the willingness to learn and to grow, I think, is a prerequisite for any transformation, right? So like you can't guide a horse to water and force it to drink the water, right? You can guide a horse to water, but you can't force it to drink the water. Like it has to want to drink the water. It does it by its own resolve. And I think that that's how I approach people in general. It's like if I kind of feel that you're a person who doesn't want to be helped and stuff, like I'm like, okay, like I can't help you then. Like you have to open the door for me to step in.
That's a interesting quote, and I love it a lot because I never heard of it, first of all. And
really?
Yeah, I never heard of it, actually, first of all. And second of all, like, I understand what you mean by that, 100%.
Because I've dealt with a lot of ignorant people in my life. And I think we all have.
Yeah.
And I think that our natural, like, tendency or intuition is to, like, try to, like, want to fix these people. It's like, oh, like, I could fix this person. Like, this person's ignorant, but I'm going to show them the truth. I'm going to unveil the truth to them. Like, I'm going to try to better them. But you can't. Because, like, that's just energy wasted. It's like that person has to first open their doors and invite you in and say, okay, I'm ready. I put my ego aside. I put my pride. And I'm ready now to just step down off my high horse and just really just be humble enough to understand that that I don't know everything.
Yeah, no, like even like it could go to like people who are just negative too.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like, you know what? It's like I feel like it's sad, but like it's that like type of negativity like really brings down people, and like you don't realize it, or like people try to help you out, and you're just so like stuck in that rut that like it just like slowly like, what's the proper word, like
it contaminates you too. Like it like you get contaminated by it. Like
yeah,
the more you stay around it.
yeah, it like basically like affects your aurora.
Aura.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I was thinking Aurora is like something else.
Aurora is a character in like a cartoon, no?
It is actually. I forgot what
From
cartoon.
where? Yeah, Aurora.
It is a
What?
character. I just don't know where.
That's such a similar name.
I think Aurora is also like
It's Norwegian.
no, I think it's Aura. Try that.
A-U-R. I spelled it all wrong.
No, you're fine.
Aurora, like that.
Yeah, I think it's like that. Let's see.
I've definitely heard this before.
Not her though. I don't.
Not her. I don't know who this chick is, but Frozen too.
Frozen?
I've never seen Frozen.
I have to admit, but I don't remember. Now you're gonna make me go back and watch
Frozen. Is it from a video game?
It has been said in video games in the past.
Yeah, probably. I don't know, but that's a dope name though, Aurora. But anyways.
Yeah,
so
sorry.
we just went on Google and saw this lady's face now. I don't know where. Mid conversation, yeah.
Look at that crap. You know what? I just came from a birthday party the other day, and my friend, he had like a crown, and he had to deliver from Ukraine. And it's like a king's crown. I don't know how he found it, but it was really nice. And
it's an actual crown?
It's like metal and everything. Like it's actually like a crown. And like I thought it was plastic at first, because like it just like looked like plastic. But when I touched it, and he told me like, no, this is from like Ukraine. Like I actually ordered it. I was just like, holy crap.
That's
like,
dope.
Yeah, but I just thought of that because she was wearing something.
Yeah, she's wearing something dope on her head. I don't know what that is, but it looks nice.
Yeah, it could be the new style for this year, to be honest.
For sure. What if this podcast is the one that like starts this style now, and then like it just blows up, and then everybody starts wearing that on the street?
Well, you know what?
Because Tiffany and Callie talked about it, so I'm wearing it.
I was just about to say, like, you heard it here first. If this becomes like a new like popular trend.
Yeah, and then tomorrow Rihanna shows up in like a paparazzi picture wearing it, and then she's like, Tiffany and Callie spoke about it, so I just knew that I had to get on it. You know?
I just know that if Rihanna ever like says our name, I would just faint. Like I would just faint.
Crazy. That would be a wild experience.
I would be like, did you hear Rihanna said our names? She saw our podcast.
I would just put it as like a ringtone, and I would just keep playing it in the house every day, like just like on a loop, just her saying it, just that one sentence.
That's just that one sentence.
Yeah. It's like everywhere I go, like it's just like on a loudspeaker, and then I'm like at Target, and then people are like, "Hey, like what is that? Like why don't you wear headphones?" I'm like, "Do you know who this is? This is Rihanna. Do you know who Callie is?" I'll pull out my ID and show it and stuff, and then I'll show your video and be like, "That's Tiffany right there."
You know what you have to do? You have to get that sound, grab the telephone from Target that makes the announcements
and then just leave it there until I get kicked out by the police.
Yeah, oh my god. I think it'll work out.
Nah, it'll do just fine, yeah.
Oh, but yes, Aurora is those sky things too.
The Northern Lights, right?
Yes, that's the other name that they call it, Aurora. I can't say.
Yeah, those are beautiful.
I want to see that one day.
Yeah, that's nice.
Man.
Look at all the colors and stuff. It's crazy.
I feel like if you ever see it in person, it's life-changing, but I heard that it's like once in a blue moon that you can actually capture it.
Really?
Yeah, because sometimes the clouds are covering it. So when people actually make like the trips to actually see them in person,
they might be disappointed.
Yeah, a lot of people get disappointed because they actually won't be able to see it because of the clouds of the weather. I've heard about that a lot, but like sometimes when you do, they have it like for days.
That's crazy.
It's a hit and miss.
it looks, see, like things like this kind of make me want to believe that aliens maybe do exist, or at least that there's
Ooh,
something more to life, you know, like
yeah.
again, going into the whole spirituality thing. It's like, I don't know. Like I don't know if you have this, but I'll sometimes be kind of like in a rut mentally. I'll be kind of in my head, kind of negative, kind of like just like feeling down, maybe a little depressed sometimes. And then I'll just meditate, and then like after meditating, I'll just like go for a walk with my dog, and I'll just be like more in tune with nature and just paying attention. And then sometimes, and I'll sound crazy, but sometimes like nature kind of speaks back,
Yeah.
and you just get like this comforting feeling that like your questions have been answered by just the comfort that you receive.
I totally understand what
I
you.
don't know if that makes sense.
No,
Yeah.
it makes sense. I totally get what you mean because I'm the same way. Like whenever like I'm in a rut and like I like get stuck,
Mm-hmm.
like sometimes you have to like take a step back and like either like distract yourself or literally just be like, let me go on a walk and like
Yes.
the walks are the best. I don't
I
know.
love walking.
Yeah, like I don't know if people because there's people who tell me that they hate walking like
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just like why because like
You hate being a human being,
yeah,
basically. Like you hate like living life. like who hates
no,
walking? It's so weird.
I think like my friends like
That's
some of my
funny.
friends will be like I'm just too tired and I'm just like yo
I get
like
that. Yeah,
I get it but like sometimes you see the most beautiful things like
hundred
just
percent.
walking.
Yeah, and sometimes you'll see like, for example, right? I don't know if you saw the post that I made. So
Which one?
about the whole like fiber fitness thing. So for the longest time, I was invested in this project and like
Yeah.
opening a gym,
Yes,
and
I
then
remember that.
and then prior to COVID, it was supposed to open in Totowa, New Jersey. It was like a second floor space. It was huge, right? It was huge, ideal space. I was super excited.
Yeah.
Things were going to work out finally. And then COVID hits. And then we lose that location because we kind of fight with the landlord with like regarding lease terms and all that stuff.
Oh man.
And then COVID comes. And then I kind of pivoted the whole business model. I try to like revamp it. I try to restructure it. I basically started from the ground up, and it was going to be like a smaller footprint. It was going to be 3,000 square feet, like studio, group class driven vibe, kind of like Orange Theory, kind of like all of these like boot camp studios
Okay.
in like
Okay.
New York. And then it just got to a point recently where it's just always been an uphill battle, right? Like it's always been like just hardship after hardship, setback after setback. And I think that the human spirit is super powerful. I think that we're very resilient, but it does get to a point where you just have to make that decision in terms of like, because I love the quote that Einstein says that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. So that's being insane. It's like
Yeah.
you're doing the same thing, expecting something different. And so for 4 years, I've been trying to open this gym. I've been trying to like establish this vision, open this ideal place where people can go, content creators, where people can just create dope stuff and just be, you know, the best version of themselves, even if that sounds cheesy. Long story short, recently I made the biggest decision of my life, basically, which was to just like pause
Wow.
and just like put that to the side. And I just basically, quote unquote, I don't want to say I gave up, but I'm literally just like pausing it for the time being. So I don't know if it's going to be like a 1 year pause, a 5 year pause, a 10 year pause. But right now I just want to really focus on other avenues, on other like creative ventures, like Vitruvian over there, like
Yeah.
this podcast. I want to really invest monetarily, especially. So like money that would be going towards the gym, I want to invest into this podcast. So when you come back for our follow-up episode
Yeah.
number 2, because we'll probably have to do another one so that we can actually, you know, like get everything off.
Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
feel like we could talk for hours and hours. But when we do our second episode, hopefully by then you'll see that like there's different maybe microphones, like better equipment, better production. The wallpaper will be up. But I want to like basically invest in the things that we talked about during this entire episode. Practically is like invest in the things that make you passionate and that just make you excited. You know,
Yeah.
like I love having conversations like this. Throughout this whole conversation is what I feel like my purpose is on this planet, if that makes sense.
No, it does. It
It's
does.
like it's just connecting with people. Like this is what I love to do. I love sitting down as like complete strangers. We're both nervous and stuff, and then just exiting this conversation like thinking like, oh wow, like that just happened. You know, like we just sat and and spoke for an hour and 30 minutes.
Sorry.
No, sorry at all. Like, this is what I'm saying. It's like we could talk for hours and hours. So that's why we should have like a follow-up episode. But that's my point. It's like, okay, so after I made that decision,
Yeah.
I was super like eerie. I was super paranoid. I was like, holy shit, like, is this the right thing or not? And then when I was walking my dog in the morning, the morning after, sorry.
No, you're fine.
It's
Don't worry.
the coffee and stuff. The morning after, I saw this red, is it a red cardinal? Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. A red cardinal, and I've never seen one before in person. And then I Googled it because it was just super weird. It was one of the like those moments where you just like you're walking and then your eyes kind of like lock in and kind of like focus in on that one thing flying.
Yeah.
And then you just for no reason and you don't understand why you're focusing on that. And it's a beautiful bird and I just couldn't miss it. Like I just saw it like flying like right in front of me and then it flew back like a few times and then it just left. And then I Googled it. And when I Googled it, I'll just show you real quick.
I'm like so curious.
Red cardinal meaning. Let me see. Okay, so I don't think it was
Blood of Christ.
No.
Whoa.
It wasn't this exact one, but it's kind of something similar to that. Seeing a red cardinal, and then I put like meaning. I could just pull up the screenshot I put. Okay, so red cardinal sighting. When a red cardinal shows up, people pay attention. The spiritually sensitive often experience a red cardinal sighting as a message from spirit and for good reason. When spirit wants to attract your attention in the positive. No, so this is not the definition I saw. Let me just show you real quick because I took a screenshot.
Yeah, no, take your time. I'm curious.
Because this one's kind of like vague. And then we'll just close this off with this real quick. Where is it? Right here. So it says, when you see a red cardinal, what does it mean? When you see a red cardinal near your home, which this was like near my house,
yeah,
it should also serve as a reminder to embrace the new beginnings ahead and have faith that they will comfort your soul. It is strongly believed that cardinals are birds sent from heaven as spiritual messengers and carriers of the soul. So when I saw it, like I read that, I immediately just got emotional, like out of nowhere. Just like walking my dog, I just got emotional. I started tearing up. Like I just had a moment where like before Googling it.
Yeah.
So when I saw the bird, I just got emotional for no reason. And I couldn't explain it. Like I just got hyper emotional. I don't know if it's because I thought the bird was beautiful. Like I don't know what it was.
It was just something that made you like,
that just resonated with me. Like I don't know. And then that's why I got home and Googled it because I had to Google it. Because otherwise it could have been just like a random bird flying and then I would have not remembered it. But it was
for
crazy.
something. So for some reason that bird sticked out.
Yeah, it like spoke to me like in a weird way. I don't know how to explain.
You know, it's funny. What was it? So the other day, it's funny that you say that. You said that like the red cardinal was sent from the heaven, and then it's like, it was, what was the last line? It was like sent from heaven, but it was like a soul.
It's like a carrier for the soul.
It's funny that you said that because, I'm very like spiritual too. So the other day I was taking pictures for my friend for soccer, and we actually saw like a red cardinal at her school, and we were like with her other friend, and we were just watching the red cardinal go back and forth. And it's funny because like just recently her grandma passed away, and like there was like little signs or little things that I noticed that day when I was with her, like because like, okay, it sounds silly. Everything sounds silly, but like I don't know, like when I was taking pictures of like her, like there were like orbs or like by her.
Oh,
and like usually
spirits.
Yeah, so
yeah.
usually when they said orbs, so like it's in the pictures like a spirit.
I just got chills right now. Just
yeah. So like, and that what's funny was that you bringing this up is like kind of like just like made my eyes open more because that day like the cardinal was by us the whole time. And I was just like thinking just now, like, what if that's her grandma? And like literally she texted me, she was like, the day before we took the picture, she's like, yeah, like my grandma just recently passed away. Like I just need like it was just like insane, but like now that I think of it, like seeing all those like little signs, I'm just like, wow, like what if that was like,
That's exactly what I mean. It's like you just, I don't know, like nature has a way to like speak to us. And
yeah,
I don't discard anything. Like I'm not a skeptical person that says like, oh, like that, like that's hippie talk or spirituality is bullshit. Like no, like I'm very open to anything and everything. And that's why I'm open to even dabble in different religions. Like I try to understand every single perspective, you know, and that's why I like doing the podcast, like every single perspective. And so like being in tune with nature, like just like you said, like it's the small little things that add up. And then that's when I think God,
yeah,
if it's an energy, a person, a human, an animal, whatever it is, it speaks to us through that. And then sometimes all we need is to like just put the phone down for a little bit and just breathe in and just meditate and just like just appreciate life and just absorb everything around us basically.
I agree 100%. And like since I told you before, like I do like social media and digital marketing.
Hmm.
I'm always on my phone, but like whenever I go
Yeah.
on that walk, I just put my phone away. I'm just like, this is me, like need to be like relaxed, need to be in
Yeah.
tune because, like I said before, like you see the most beautiful things when you like actually pay attention to life and the little things too. Like,
100%.
and people will look at you and be like, oh, why do you say like that? Or like, why do you think like that way? And it's just a different perspective. Like
Hmm.
you can literally go outside and like I had times like I even when I was younger, like middle school, I'd look around nature and I'd be like, yo, don't you think today's like a beautiful day? Look at that tree.
And people will look at you like, what? Like,
Yeah, like literally people will give me that like crazy look and I'm just like, why can't you like appreciate like what's behind you? Like everything.
hmm.
It's like a weird thing, honestly. I don't know how to explain it, but like it's just
I get it 100%.
yeah, like
Hmm.
I it's just like I think it's also like um it's just like a different like perspective that people have
Yeah.
definitely and like sometimes people don't see it like when you see it and I don't
Hmm.
know.
Yeah. People have their own timing. I feel like there's something called, I think divine timing is a real thing, but also personal timing. So people see at their own rate, you know, like some people are more mature in their way of seeing life. And then other people are more like they're more, I don't know, more ignorant, more uneducated. I think that you have to be well versed in the language of life in order for you to really appreciate every single thing. So just like reading a book, you have to you know, be well versed in English for you to be able to understand the words that are on the page. And
Yeah.
the same applies to nature and the same applies to experiences. And I think that the more life experiences you have, and this has been like a common recurring thing where like the most introspective people and the most mature people in their way of thinking are generally speaking the people who undergo these crazy experiences like you underwent the whole cancer thing, right?
Yeah.
So that just makes you a wiser soul, I feel. And I believe in that, in like people our age who have souls that seem like they've lived 3 or 5 lives before, like they're
Oh,
just wise in their way of thinking.
old soul, they say. I
Yes,
love old souls.
me
And
too.
I think it's just like when you find someone who like has that same connections or like someone who has that same perspective, it's just like awesome. And
Hmm.
it's just like it just makes you not feel like you're not alone in
Yeah.
this too.
It's super refreshing because like
Yes.
you feel like, oh, like you actually, oh, so you also think that tree is beautiful? Wow, like I thought I was the only weirdo that thought that trees were nice. But anyways, so with that being said,
Yeah.
let's just hope that people who listen to this and who watch this, like they'll get some form of value from it in terms of just like practical application, you know, like that's what I think is truly valuable in terms of content. It's like people usually do like crazy stunts for views and clicks, but I think that even if this doesn't like isn't viral content, for the right people who have been listening up until this point or who have been watching up until this point,
Yeah.
I hope those people get what they need, maybe, or that maybe we can offer some like unique insight from our own experiences that they can apply to their lives and make their lives better.
I hope so too, honestly, because
Yeah,
sometimes like just listening to other people like just helps a lot.
it
Like
helps. Yeah, because it gives you a new perspective.
yeah.
especially if they're like older in their way of thinking. Like both of us are. Like I consider you an old soul in your way of thinking and your like mature way of just dealing with reality.
Yeah.
So yeah, guys. So that was episode number 27. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah.
This was an amazing experience.
Thank you for like having me. Like
No.
I'm honestly like really grateful for like being here. I hope you know that.
And you were super nervous at first, and I think that this was amazing. I think that you dropped crazy insights, crazy knowledge, and just I don't know, like it's always amazing when people are willing to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
And I think that like that's the vibe I get from you, is that you just don't have any facade. Like you're just like you're just truly yourself, and you're not afraid of just like speaking your mind and just presenting yourself to the world, presenting your Achilles heels, your weaknesses, your whatever it is. And I think that that's the ultimate power.
Thank you. Honestly, it like, damn. Why are you getting me emotional here, yo?
Don't get emotional. If you cry, you have to leave the house. All right?
I don't know
cry.
I don't know what you're talking about.
There's no crying in this podcast, bro.
No crying. No crying.
No crying.
What?
Just to clean it up. It's seasonal. It's like pollen outside.
Allergies. I have allergies. Don't you see this?
Fucking pollen and stuff. I hate flowers. You know.
You hate flowers.
I hate flowers. Pollen
What?
makes you cry and stuff.
You know
Bullshit.
what? I feel you. Just that when when the pollen hits your eyes,
you gotta fight it. You gotta fight it.
A tear might come out.
Yeah, and then I'll just cut that out in like post production. But yeah, guys. So that's episode number 27. If you enjoyed it, if you have any questions or any opinions, or if there's anything that both of us or one of us said that really resonated with you, just interact with us, ask questions, and we'll definitely do like a follow-up episode in the future. And yeah, because I feel like we have a lot to talk about still.
Definitely. Oh my god,
Right.
it'll be fun. I feel like
100%. All right, peace out.